Hello and welcome everyone. I'm João Federici, the World Cinema Programmer for the Mill Valey Festival, and I'm here today to talking about the US premiere of the Venice Best Documentary winner, Babenco Tell Me When I Die, about the Argentinian, Brazilian, Oscar-nominated director Hector Babenco, known for social conscious films that picture lives of those on the margins of society. I hope you enjoy the film. And now, stick around with me and our special guests for the Q&A. We are very fortunate to have here with us today to discuss the film, the Brazilian actress and director of the documentary, Bárbara Paz.
Hello, thank you. Muito obrigada.
The producer, Myra Babenco.
Hello, thank you everyone.
Also with us, the painter, artist, and Oscar-nominated director, and Babenco's longtime friend, Julian Schnabel.
Hello, nice to see you. I don't see my face appearing, but it doesn't matter. I know what I look like.
And the producer and Oscar-nominated actor, Willem Dafoe, who played Hector Babenco in Babenco's last film.
Nice to be here. Happy to see you all.
It's an honor for us at Mill Valey Festival to have you all here with us today. Thank you so much for making time and sharing such an intimate life and love story. Let's start with Bárbara. You and Babenco were a couple for many years until his death. I know that it is your farewell to Babenco. You call the film a visual poem. Can you say more about what you mean by that?
So this documentary is about love of life, love of cinema, love of love. It's my poem to him. It's a farewell movie.
You're talking about what the movie is about. And the fact is that you are such a big part of the movie, and the dynamic between you and Hector is, when you explain to somebody what your reasons are for doing something, they're never the same thing. The movie is the thing. And I just wanted to say, because to ask that question in a sense, obviously people want to know what the director is thinking, but somehow your role and Hector's participation in his affection for you and his, on one hand, nurturing of you as an actress, and at the same time, his belief in you is something that he would have been extraordinarily proud of if he could have seen this, because you didn't let him down in any way. So I think that it's not necessarily about him or about love. It is an emblem of a relationship that is physical and kind of inseparable from explanation somehow. And also somehow, since it's about death, and Hector spent so much time since the time that he had cancer, and the movie about his time in the hospital where Willem plays Hector, and since for all these years going through that and living with death in a sense, and then the irreality of death, and even in your film, death is just a part of the continuation of the film. And he even goes somewhere after he dies. So there's no end to it somehow. So the fiction of cinema, the body of cinema, the fact that cinema doesn't die, that cinema is a representation of life and it's different than life. So it's optimistic. It's something that goes, I think that is embodied in this. And that's what's another thing that's so amazing about your film.
I like what you're saying. I mean, when I saw the film, I think it's a very beautiful film. And I just recognized Hector. It didn't have a lot of filters on it. And what Barbara did was really incredible. A very loving, but very also unsentimental portrait of him. We saw the full range of who he was. And he says very beautiful things, and the images are very beautiful, and you get beautiful snippets of some of his work. And it's really, when I saw that film, of course, it made me miss him and felt very felt the loss of and nostalgia for the time I spent with him. But I think I didn't know how much I had in common with him or how much I felt for him until I saw this documentary, because he says many things about his love for cinema and how he lives through cinema and his desire to naturally be iconoclastic and challenge things, and his love for disenfranchised people, many things that I felt very close to. And it's really a tribute to him, not only to Barbara's love for him and many people's love for him, but he's very articulate in how he talks about his love for cinema. And I was quite moved by it. Also
because he talks as an outsider, that he has been making movies south of the equator, and that he's sort of working, and his relationship somehow to Hollywood, and how he always felt like an outsider, and how to work through the notion of being, obviously he's born in Argentina, but being a Brazilian director, a South American, a Latin American director. And obviously the notion of film is really to break down the boundaries of things, and our differences become part of the dialogue. But it's, I think his fears and his doubts and his insecurities that he articulates also. And even in, there's a moment in the movie that you made with Hector where Barbara is dancing and singing in the rain. It was a very difficult moment, I think, in the film. In seeing it in the documentary and seeing Hector watching it and reacting to it was an amazing kind of meta version of this thing, understanding about somebody making something and living with their decisions. And that was very profound.
And at the same time, Barbara was already documenting the life and the death. How you see that relationship between them?
One of the great things about Barbara is she's a self-starter. She's always creating things. And Hector was a little like that too. So I didn't know exactly what she was making. I think I was a little naive about how not well Hector was, because as we were making the movies, he had a lot of energy, good amount of energy, and I didn't know. I couldn't imagine. I was very surprised when he started to be weak again. So there are many things that I didn't know, but Barbara was a wonderful partner, and she's very brave, a wonderful scene partner, and very brave in the respect that the actors had to speak in English, because the film is, the convention is we're speaking in English. And she had to learn a lot phonetically, because at that point she speaks English much better now, but she was very brave and very concentrated, and she's a brave artist.
Queria dizer que o Hector estava com muita energia filmando. Foi o último filme, mas a gente não sabia que ia ser o último filme. Ele falava que era o último filme, e a cena da dança foi a última cena de cinema dele, na vida, e ele sabia. Ele falou, essa é a minha última cena. E eu queria que ela acabasse com vida.
And it's recorded.
And it's recorded.
Yeah, it's forever.
I feel that this film, this documentary, it's something that the public that didn't know Hector so well as we did, it shows the human being and the meaning of life that he had throughout his work, throughout the cinema, and has pinches of every one of his films, of course, of who he was. But Barbara made this man we know from the inside out, what he really meant of life from within. Yeah. And I cannot be more grateful for a woman doing this for my father.
One thing that occurs to me is just watching it, I wanted to go back and watch these movies. And also I started making a connection. I'd seen, I think, pretty much all of his movies, but now it really made me want to go back to them. And just for me, it created a through line that I had never quite felt before, because you see movies one at a time and sometimes you don't quite make the connection. But that was beautifully made in this doc. I mean, you saw a life, you saw a man, and it's a beautiful doc.
I thought the two best films made in the 1980s was Raging Bull and Pichot. And I think it was very, I think it's sort of essential for the film Pichot to be on the list that people get when they think of, what should I watch? A young filmmaker, what should I watch? Well, you should watch 400 Blows, Truffaut. You should watch Les Mépris, Godard. And you should watch the Battle of Algiers, by Gilles Bontecorvo, and you should watch Pichot by Hector Babenco. And you should watch, Raging Bull by Martin Scorsese. And I think that that Hector was a world-class film director, and I think that sometimes he felt somewhat marginalized, and just being from another country where people didn't know, also being from Argentina and not being a Brazilian, he was already un extranjero there. Pichot had a huge effect on our lives, and it still does. And I think everybody that watches movies should know this film. It's an essential film, but there's something in all of Hector's movies that is heartbreaking and touching and useful. And I think that Barbara's film of him is in concert with Hector's being and his work. And so I think that it was really, I'm very happy to see this. I was very moved when I saw Barbara's film. And I think that it's really through Hector's work that you have to know Hector. This is an extra bonus, knowing Hector through Barbara.
How was it for you to watch the Babencos in the premiere in Venice? How did it affect you?
When I saw it, I jumped out of my seat, and somebody said something. I don't know what they said, but like I interrupted Barbara at the beginning of this video meeting. I jumped up because I wanted to say something, and I felt like she shouldn't have to explain anything, because what she did was sort of beyond explanation, and it was so excellent that I was extremely happy to be there and moved, and I couldn't have been more pleased with the whole thing. It was really one of those great days. She's adorable. She's a force of nature, and I know Hector loved her.
Yeah, I could spend hours talking with you all, but unfortunately you needed to end it here. I want to thank you again so much. It was a big pleasure. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe.
Obrigado.
Obrigado você.
Thank you, obrigada, Júlia, obrigada, William, obrigado, viu?
Tchau.
Bye.
Saudade.